Alrighty, we are off on our way to go camping
in Virginia at
Shenandoah National Park. And we are just leaving now after school. It's about 3:30. It's me, the twins, and we got Hershey in here too. So it feels relatively roomy versus our other road trips. And we have managed to fit our tent, our grill, all of our clothes, food, some drinks for Daddy, and everything we could possibly need for 2 days that are going to feel much longer, all in the car with no problem. So practicality test for the Model Y is a great success. We even used the frunk for our duffel bags of clothes, which is absolutely worthwhile to have. So note to all of the EV manufacturers out there who are not putting frunks in their cars, that there is actually value in it. So we've got our tent from Tesloid, and it's a nice easy pop-up one which connects to the back of the car. So plan is to put the boys and Hershey in the tent on top of the air mattress, and their sleeping bags attached to the back of the car, where I'll be sleeping with my inflatable air mat and sleeping bag.
And it looks like Snorlax's belly.
Snorlax's belly? Yeah. The air mattress? Yeah. So we should be nice and cozy relatively for camping. It's not going to be freezing, but it's going to be chilly overnight. It is mid-November already, and while it is a solid like 10 degrees warmer in Virginia than in New Jersey, it's still going down into the 40s overnight. So it'll be nice to be based out of the back of the Tesla, where we can run our heat overnight a little bit, and it'll go into the tent too, which is quite nice. So we'll see what effect that has on the battery, and if we'll have to make any emergency plans as a result. What's up, bud? Oh, nice. Yeah, so our plan is to get down there tonight. We're going to make 2 supercharger stops, one in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, to just get enough to get down into Virginia. And then, and that's in about 2.5 hours from now. We're going to get there. It keeps going up. We're estimated to get there with 31% now. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and see if we're actually even going to need that stop, or maybe we can eke it out a little further. And then we're going to stop and charge all the way to 100 in, what's it called? Somewhere in Virginia. Basically in Virginia, right outside of the park at Strasburg, Virginia, to go up to 100% so that we have as much charge as possible while we're driving around the park, because there are because there aren't any charging things inside the park, except there is one level 2 public charger at the hotel and lodge there, which our plan is to eat dinner there tomorrow and get top off while we're there.
Today we're going to a pizza place.
Yeah, so our second stop at Strasburg is near a pizza place where we are going to have dinner. Yeah, get some pizza while the car charges up. I also realized we don't really have very much propane for the grills, so we might have to make a little stop at a Target or Walmart or something to get another canister or 2. But we'll see how late it's going, because we're already predicted, even without that stop in Strasburg, to not get to the campground until 9, and that's not going to be great. Good thing is with our pop-up tent, I don't have to worry too much about setting it up at night. It just pops straight up, and then I just have to kind of connect it to the car, which should be easy enough to do in the moonlight. It was just a full moon yesterday, I think. Blood moon. So it should still be pretty light tonight. But we've also got our telescope, so we can do some stargazing tonight.
Can I have it?
It's in the trunk, bud. And we have our some stuff for making a marshmallowy treat. If you catch my drift. S'mores, yep, at the campfire. But we have to get firewood for that, and I realized I didn't bring a lighter, so we'll see. This is the first time camping in several years, so we're kind of learning as we go. No, I have the flashlights. I forgot to bring a lighter to start a fire, so we have to figure out a way to do that. But the grill has a lighter on it, so we'll figure something out. Daddy will improvise. It's what camping's all about. It's about living off the land, improvising. Growing marshmallows, yep. And yeah, so that's basically our plan for today. Tomorrow is going to be our driving around on Skyline Drive, which is the big road that goes through the park. And we're going to stop for a few hikes. We're going to go up and get lunch in Front Royal, which is the northernmost town, sort of at the entry to the national park. And going to drive like the northern half of the park, and then on Friday we are going to go down south in the south half of the park, mostly just for driving there because there wasn't as much hiking that was kind of must do, and we have to get back on the road Friday, so we're going to drive down there, then head over to Charlottesville, Virginia, where there is a Supercharger and a brewery and some lunch spots and stuff. So we're going to get some food and stuff there, and then make our big drive back home on Friday. Shenandoah National Park actually has the highest density of bears in any national park. So they are black bears, not grizzlies, thankfully. But we still have to be careful with camping, not leave any food out. But it will also be nice to have Hershey sort of as a deterrent and warning system overnight if we need that.
So Hershey can go up that.
Yeah, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
It probably shouldn't be very crowded. I hope it's not crowded because we are not able to make a reservation at the campsite right now because it's off season, which I hope means that there isn't a problem with availability. But it is first come, first serve, so we're hoping for that. There's also the Skylands Lodge there, which we were looking into, but it was kind of expensive for pretty rustic accommodations. It was pet friendly, which is good, and it's central in the park, and they have a Tesla destination charger. So there is always that, but that's kind of plan B if camping doesn't work out. So yeah, and I'm excited to show that a road trip like this is not only possible, but definitely not too hard in an electric vehicle, and even getting around inside of a national park. Not the most remote one. I think it's probably closest to like metropolitan areas of any park, but still won't be a problem. All right, so that's the plan. We'll do a little bit of a check-in later on and see how everybody's doing. And get this sun out of my eyes. There we go. All right, so this is our driver's eye view of our multiple heads-up display situation we've got going on right now. But we're gonna use this trip to kind of figure out which one we enjoy keeping in here for now or not. But I am definitely enjoying both. It's nice to have the speed.
That sunblock on?
Yeah, this one?
Yeah.
Is that good? Yeah, it's good to have this one, which, both of them showing our speed, but I like how this one has the speed limit as well. You can see, the time, state of charge, temperature, our range, and our autopilot settings all on there, which is nice too. So, quite like that. You can even see like the tire pressure on there if we need it. So I wonder how it's still pretty warm. It's 57 now. It's gotten warmer, but when the sun sets and it gets colder, I'll have to check and see how our tire pressure is looking. If you're interested, I will have a link in the description for this as well. All right, so I wanted to show this too, which is the relatively new energy and consumption app that Tesla pushed in a software update pretty lately. So I did complain before about them removing some of this visualization, but then they pushed this, which gives way more information, and I actually really like this. So this shows the actual real-life energy consumption versus what it was estimating, and it takes a bunch of different factors into consideration, like the temperature, your elevation change, how much you're running the climate control and everything like that. And so you can see we actually just ticked back. We've been kind of going up and down, but right around what it was estimating. So we're 1% above now, and I think that's because we just got through some traffic and had to accelerate to get past people that were having a hard time. So a little bit over that now, and you can see that that is coming. 10.7% of our consumption is coming from driving, which is 1.5% more than was estimated. So yeah, it's nice to be able to see that and realize that if I need to eke out some more energy, I can always just slow down a little bit. But we don't really need to here, so we can leave it like this. But you can also see our usage of climate. We haven't had it on at all because it's quite comfortable out. So we've actually used 0.6% less than estimated as a result of that. Haven't had to do any battery conditioning yet. Our elevation change has been pretty minor and probably it's probably pretty accurate versus what it is expecting. So we're like right on there. And then everything else we've used slightly more, and that could just be from us having a bunch of stuff plugged in to charge, plus all of the peripherals that are plugged into our ports in the car. So we might just be drawing a little bit extra power there. And then it's showing us up here our live projection of what we'll arrive with, which is 36.8%, which has actually gone up quite a bit. And even gives you some tips. So staying below 70 would have saved us 0.9% on this trip. And we'll see how that looks toward the end of it. So I think this is quite cool, and I really like how they show all of this stuff now. You can also do comparison versus the rated, and so here we're 5% more than the vehicle consumption, which is primarily coming from driving again. That's basically just removing all of the estimates that it knows about in the navigation. So good kind of baseline to look against as well. And then it even breaks down how much we use going uphill versus downhill. So we'll expect to see continued usage kind of over the benchmark here for elevation, because we are going to be heading up into the mountains from the relative flatlands of New Jersey. So I actually like this quite a bit, and I'm glad that they pushed this, and I feel like it really has improved the overall usability and helps educate people on how they're actually using their car and what factors contribute to the energy consumption and what you can do to make it better. So that is fantastic. We just passed a Nissan Leaf from Colorado, so someone's doing quite the ambitious EV road trip. I wonder how often they had to stop on the way over here to get here with that. Plus where they're finding all those Shenandoah chargers. That is aspirational. It's amazing how fast it gets dark after the sunset. So the sun was up and blinding us a second ago, and now it just went behind kind of this Windows XP-esque hillside greenery, and it's already starting to get dark. But at least now the sun is out of our faces and we're not getting traffic from the glare now. So that's quite nice. Alright, we've got an hour and 20 minutes, 84 miles to get to the Carlisle, Pennsylvania charger. And it's in the 50s right now, which is good for our energy consumption. And so far, pretty uneventful drive, which is always a plus. Very nice, bucolic, pastoral, farmy scenery right now. No animals yet, though. We're heading out past where we normally go in Pennsylvania. So normally when we're going to Pennsylvania, we're going to the Lehigh Valley to visit family. But we're already past that, and we're out in farmland now. So we've got a little while to go. We're starting to get almost into Amish country also. And it is the land of farms and giant warehouses and distribution centers. And sheets, getting close to sheets. We've now progressed from Wawa to Sheets country. And our supercharging stop is near Sheets, so I might have to run in See if there's any goodies there. The trucks along 78 here, though, are just absolutely horrible and causing all this traffic. When it was 3 lanes, they were in the right 2 lanes, going all the same speed, blocking everybody. And now that we're down to 2 lanes, they're all in the left lane, going slow and blocking everybody. So, not a huge fan of this, and I have to keep going in the right lane to get past people. How are we doing back there, Baba? Got one asleep and one not. We're on 78, and I swear that this traffic was here 20 years ago. Not traffic, this construction was being done 20 years ago, and it appears to still be going on. And I don't understand why everyone is going 5 miles an hour. Anders, please don't. I don't enjoy having to drive like a absolute jerk around everybody, but we're gonna do that. Anders, you cozy back there?
Yeah.
You comfortable in Tesla? No? Why not? Okay. Fascinating. Alright. The drive continues. Alright, well, we are still somehow going through the same construction zone, and I think it just finished, as I was saying. It's hard to say. But absolutely no sign of any construction happening, despite 10 miles of construction. And now the problem is all of these trucks are in the left lane and are going to take miles and miles to move over. But anyway, for folks that have been following along, the saga of our broken grill and radiator. One of my previous videos, I was on the way to go to the body shop to have that looked at and get a quote for it. So I did end up getting a quote. It's going to be around $1,500. It's almost entirely the labor that is costing that. Basically, the only 2 parts that are needed are replacement front fan vent or something like that, and the front of the radiator. So altogether, not too bad. I mean, it's kind of amazing how much damage that box that we hit actually did. But basically, it broke off one of the strakes for the vents in the front and knocked down the plastic part the diffuser that's underneath the bumper. And so we took that in to get it checked out. But it's amazing how much that damage was actually done from that. But at least it's not too crazy of a repair bill, so we're probably not even going to do insurance for that. We're just going to pay that because it's not worth it with the deductible and how much our rates would go up. So we have the parts for that on order, and we'll hopefully be getting the repair for that scheduled soon. I didn't love driving all this distance with that, not in great condition, but it's definitely not dangerous or gonna hurt the car or anything like that to be driving like it. So it's not like it's hanging off or anything like that. So we'll get it taken care of hopefully quite soon. So we're now definitively out in farm country. Still no animals. Just past a barn. Don't see any cows, but there are silos. We are getting close to, we're in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, where the giant Cabela's is. Not planning on stopping for that, but always an interesting one. And the Cracker Barrel here is absolutely on my recommend list. So if you're ever driving through Hamburg, Pennsylvania on 78, you need a break after all the construction, make sure to stop at Cabela's and Cracker Barrel. Not sponsored, but hey, could be. Alright, it's going to be getting dark soon. It's that time of year when it's just dark so early. We just changed the clocks and the days are getting shorter. It's kind of depressing that it's this dark already, and it's I think the phone's making it look brighter than it is, but it's starting to get dark and it's only 4:52. Alright, more barns and silos, but still no animals. Hopefully soon. Alright, we are just passing Charlottesville. Charlottesville. Must be a lot of Taco Bells there if you catch my drift. How nice is that sunset?
Let's go.
Well, we are losing the sun now, but it is quite pretty driving this way. We are absolutely in the land of distribution centers. We passed PetSmart, Dollar General, Samsung, and like 4 or 5 other ones that I didn't even see the names on. I guess when you buy stuff, it has to come from somewhere, and apparently this is where it comes from. So we got that, and now we are seeing animals. We've seen horses and sheep and cows. We even saw longhorns. It's a little bit interesting for Pennsylvania, but I guess no reason they can't be here. So, fascinating little part of America. We'd never see it if we didn't take this road trip. We're about 45 minutes still from Carlisle, and can't wait to see what amazing things we discover there that we'll only see from being at the Supercharger. But that is one nice thing about the charging, is it gets you off the highway and gets you into towns and places that you would not otherwise have a reason to go to. So it does help you see more of the country. But yeah, this is America. Long highways full of trucks moving stuff around. Big warehouses and distribution centers, farms, and that's about it. This is why we tend to go for bigger cars and EVs that have super long mileage rather than as many little kind of around the city type EVs. But I feel like we need a mix of both. We've got a little bit of both across the country, which is what makes it great. I'm feeling very patriotic today because it was just election day yesterday. So we're getting closer to Carlisle now, and the interesting thing is the car's been preconditioning the battery for fast charging for about 45 minutes, which is much longer than I've ever seen it do before. But I wonder if just because we're going to arrive there with a high state of charge, it figures burn more energy to keep the battery warm so that it'll charge faster or something. I don't know. I haven't seen that before. It's interesting. But we've also been driving on autopilot for most of the drive, and it's been pretty good. We've had no like phantom braking. Still don't love how aggressive it is with braking in traffic, and non-aggressive it is in accelerating in traffic. It doesn't really keep up to other people, but that part hasn't been too bad. The main problem has been it's having a hard time like following some of the lane markings here in Pennsylvania. So it just like almost took us off an exit on the right side while we were in the right lane for no reason. And we've had a couple times like when it was starting to drift over into the like past the yellow line, which is not great. So I don't know if that's just because it's the sun was like right in our faces at that point, and maybe that makes it hard for the cameras, but that was less than ideal. But other than that, it's been good, and it's just nice for long drives like this to reduce the amount of fatigue that you have, both in like physicality of just working the steering wheel nonstop the whole time. And you guys see any horses in that truck? No, I didn't see any. As well as mental fatigue, having to just make a lot of little micro decisions about driving and everything. So this helps you stay a little bit more rested. All right, we are 2 minutes away from the Supercharger in Carlisle, and that means we can look at our consumption. So we used 2.4% more than was predicted from the trip, but that's not too bad. And that's almost entirely coming from our speed. So if I had gone a little bit slower, we would have had no problem. So we got that, and then let's take a look at our, actually let me not miss the turn here. Yeah, it's gonna be up here on the right. All right, let's take a look at our consumption too.
Keep left to Harrisburg Pike. Then make a U-turn. Use the left lane to keep left.
So
Then make a U-turn on
we've used 275 watt hours per mile, which is a bit better actually than our overall lifetime usage in the car. And
Use the left lane to make a
let's see,
U-turn on
going
Harrisburg
sheets up
Pike.
there? No, there's a go. Go up here. So we have also gone 166 miles, 2 hours 38 minutes. We started at 100%. We're now at 37. And we are just gonna kind of top off here enough to get us to our next supercharger closer to Shenandoah. And here's the
Make a
supercharger.
U-turn on Harrisburg Pike.
Out of Sheets. That's how you know we're in Pennsylvania now. I guess center of Pennsylvania. It's like kind of like Wawa. You guys want to go inside and take a look? So this is a V2 supercharger,
What is it?
which means that the power's going to be shared. So we're going to go all the way down to 4 here.
This is the pizza place.
Turn right.
This is the pizza place, Bubba. This is just like a gas station, pretty much.
We can wash something.
Yeah, but can you guys come inside with me and we'll go check it out?
Yeah.
And then we'll come right, and then Anders, and then we'll come out. Then we will come out. Okay? Alright. Like a glove. So we have all Model 3s here, it looks like. Not the most exciting. So, I just noticed that. No, they're fine. Alright, so we'll figure this out after we go inside and go to the bathroom and everything. Okay, and we are already charging, and we're up to 73 kilowatts. Alright, good, we're over that, so that means we're not sharing with anybody. I'm expecting to max out in like the 140s basically here. So that's saying 20 minutes to get all the way, but we don't actually need to go that far, so we'll just switch it in a minute. We've got a crazy full moon rising up above now here while we're charging. All right, we are done charging already. That was a $7.14 stop, and I don't know where it tells you anymore. Yeah, so we were charging for about 12, 13 minutes, 7:14, and we charged from 37% to 64%. We were getting about 85 kilowatts at the end there, which is not super great, but we're also not too far from where we're going to charge all the way up, so I just want to get there. All right, so we're going to continue on our way. Oh boy, I thought we were driving for a long time, but we've somehow managed to drive all the way to Scotland. I'm sure nobody's ever made that joke before. Okay, so 2 things I don't like about driving the Tesla at night. One thing I don't like and one thing I do like, and they're both related to lights. Just crossed into Maryland. So one is the auto high beams. So I have them off right now, which I have purposefully done. Now I put on autopilot and it automatically turns them on. I don't understand why those 2 things need to be linked. That seems very silly to me. Cameras don't need high beams to be on, as evidenced by the fact that it's doing just fine with them not on right now. So why does it do that, and why do I have to then shut it back off every single time, which is incredibly annoying on the highway because I'm changing lanes all the time, and it is deserted enough here that it is turning them on periodically as we're driving and blinding people on the highway, which is awful. So that's not so good. The thing that is good is actually these lights back here are really not very distracting at all as you're driving. So the light kind of doesn't really reach up here too much because of where the seats are. So not too bad with that. So observations now that I'm actually driving the car at night much more than I would normally would. All right, well, we are now in West Virginia, which I didn't even realize we were going to go through. So we just came through Maryland, now West Virginia, and it is the land of Joe Manchin, but also of 70-mile-an-hour speed limits, which is quite a pleasant surprise. So I don't think we're here very long. I think we're going to be in Virginia quite soon, but a little update for you. Also, still the same problem with trucks, even though we're at 3 lanes now, including ones that need to absolutely tailgate you only to then move over and slow way down. Oh well. So over there is where they actually get all the coal that they need here to keep West Virginia running. Not a lot of people know that. All comes from right there. Coal factor. Still just cruising along here, West Virginia. Well, we are in God's country here. Now we're in Virginia as opposed to that heathen-loving West Virginia. People here know what's up. So this truck that we just passed had a radioactive sign on it, which I've never seen before, and it's a little bit creepy. So that was fun. Could be Doc Brown transporting some stuff there. Yeah, so we are now in Virginia, getting closer to the Strasburg Supercharger. Actually, we're only 4 minutes away now, so quite close. And I have noticed that I've noticed that what we've seen the most along this drive has been Cracker Barrels and Texas Roadhouses. And it makes me wonder, why are there no superchargers at either of those? Because I would love to take the boys to go have one of those experiences. We also passed quite a few churches, including one that said "Travelers Welcome" at. I think if I were them, I would put a supercharger in there, and you're definitely going to get some travelers. So you got to think outside the box. Bring in all the Tesla people. They're already in the cult of Elon, and how hard could it be to get them to join your church too?
Exit 300, I-66 East North Front Royal.
You got to think about these things. All right, we are here at the Strasburg Supercharger. Oh, these are cool ones. Look at this. You pull in forward and then plug in.
Turn right.
That's kind of cool.
Left.
Are these, yeah, oh, these are V2 ones. I got excited the cord looked like it was maybe skinny, but they're not. 2A, 2B, yeah.
This is cool. These are cool.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different.
Just drive in and then it's easier.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's...
I don't have to, like,
sorry,
turn
Hershey.
on and go
All right,
back.
so we are gonna stop here.
Can Hershey have...
Hershey, not now, bud. He'll get out of the campground and he'll be fine there. All right. So we're gonna go get charging, head in, get some pizza, and then get back on our way after we are fully charged up.
Wait, are we gonna eat?
So we actually had to move from this one because the pins in the charging cable were bent. These V2 ones, when it's cold out like this, the cables are just so like stiff and inflexible. It's really hard to work with them. So I wonder if somebody was having a hard time kind of getting it in and ended up bending it. All right, Mr. Hershey, you got to stay. Axel, you good? All right, we are charging up at 130, I think it says. Happy Hershey. We'll stay here for now, right? Yeah, oh, 141, so not bad. All right, let's go get some food. Food. Yeah, not the worst supercharger location ever. It's kind of a little bit off the road here, and then you have to walk on the little bit sketchy sidewalk here. But at least you have a bunch of options. There's Chinese food. There's the pizza place that we're going to.
In 900 feet, turn right on Founders Way.
And there's Chicken Eats, which appears to be closed, and a diner that hasn't opened yet. McDonald's, so a bunch of different options here. Not too bad. All right, highly recommend Castiglia's Italian Restaurant and Pizza if you're here in Strasburg, Virginia at the Supercharger. Pizza was very good. Mozzarella sticks were amazing. Quite good beer from the local Devil's Backbone Brewing. And everything was super fast and like boiling hot. So very good. Highly recommended. Only problem is the charger at one point was showing me that it was overheating even though it's freezing out here. And now it's showing that it's still only charging at like 40 kilowatts, so We either have some sort of problem or these chargers are just not great. So we might need to move because we still didn't manage to get to 100%. Let's see. And we're the only ones there, I can see.
Someone named Anders. Oh no.
All right, we are leaving our supercharger, which was really tapering off hard. We were down to 24 kilowatts at 94%. So I'm not going to sit here for another 15 minutes just to get 6 more percent. So we are gonna skedoodle, get out of here. Oh, that's interesting. Showing that there's only 4 available. 1B is out of order. Is that the one that we were at? Oh yeah, that's the one with the broken thing. Okay, I should have seen that before. I wonder if these other ones would have been better off for us. Oh well. So we have a little under an hour drive to our campground now. And
we're going to watch some more of Arlo.
Gonna watch some more Arlo, yep. But we are gonna... Yeah, in just a second.
Arlo is actually a troll.
He's a troll?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
No, it's that Spud. Spud is the real.
Spud is the troll? Alright, well... Hopefully not getting fully to 100% will be enough for us to get around all day tomorrow. And
Spud is the.
on Friday get down and out of the park. And to the other superchargers for the way home. But I think we should be fine. We got 300 miles of range and only about 120 of driving planned before the next charger stop. So we do need some for keeping the heat on at night, and I'm sure we'll lose some because it's cold, and I'm sure our efficiency won't be 100%, but that's almost a 100% buffer, so I think we should be set. So, alright, we are gonna get this last little piece of the drive in and get our camping situation all set up and hopefully be comfy for the night. Well, we are officially in Shenandoah National Park now. We went past the ranger station where there was no ranger, and the bad news is the sign there said that the campground that we're supposed to be going to is closed. But there are 2 other ones that it said were vacant, and there's also the Skylands Lodge. So we're gonna check out the campground first because it's first on the way. I'm hoping that the sign was just wrong because everything online said that it would still be open. But we'll go see, and if not, we'll figure out plan B, which I think, given the time and everyone's awakeness level, might just be to get a room at the Skylands Lodge if we can. And then figure out camping tomorrow. And hopefully it doesn't come to that because everybody was very excited for camping. But so far it's been very pretty in here. There's hardly anybody here. It is 9:30 at night. Which probably explains some of that, but really not seeing too many cars around or anything. Ton of deer though, including the one that we saw before. And I also saw a little mouse run across the road. And then, I'm not sure if it was like a mink or like just a groundhog, but something else went running across. Fortunately, we can't see much of the view right now because of how dark it is, but it does look like it's going to be very beautiful when we do the drive around here in the daylight tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that. So fingers crossed for us. Hopefully the campground is in fact open. Bad news is our campground is in fact closed, so I should trust that sign. And it means another 20 to 30 mile drive to either the lodge or the next campground. So unfortunately on these roads where the speed limit is, well, I mean probably at night at least rightly, 35 miles an hour, that's another 20 minutes. So we're heading there now to go check it out. Yes, bud? Yes, sir. The deer are going camping with us. Site and our Tesloid tent, which was perfect for the night. It was actually way more comfortable in there overnight than when we did it in our driveway. I think just because it was a lot colder outside, so it was cozier in there. Boys did great. Hershey kept them warm. And now we're off for some hiking. We're off driving on Skyline Drive through Shenandoah. And we have seen so many deer already. Can't wait to see what else we're gonna see today. So we're off to go do the hike at Stony Man Point. There's Little Stony Man and Big Stony Man. I think we're gonna do Little Stony Man because it's a longer hike. It's like 3.5 miles. So that's gonna be our big morning hike, and then we're heading past the Dark Hollow Falls, and there's a visitor center here at Big Meadow that had a charge point charger, but according to PlugShare, it was not operational right now. So we might try it later, but there's a Tesla destination charger at Skyland Lodge, which is where we are hiking from, so we're gonna plug in there. We had very little battery drain overnight. We used like 2%, and I mean, granted, I didn't have it in camp mode because we didn't really need it with our sleeping bags and everything, but we barely used any, which was great. And I heard the heat kick on just a couple of times, I think, to keep the batteries warm enough, but it wasn't running too much. So we went from like 6% to 64%. But we used a lot driving down here. We only went like 25, or I guess it was like 35 miles, and we used 30% of the battery. But a lot of that was used in gaining elevation. So we should make some back up as we go this way today, back downhill. It is a very foggy day. It's not even coming through all that much on the camera, but it is super foggy, and we're hoping that as the sun comes up, it starts cooking some of this off a little bit. Because we're not going to see too much of a view right now like this. Maybe when we get on the other side of the mountain, it'll be a little bit more. We are heading to the part that is the highest elevation in the entire park, so that might mean that we're sort of above the cloud line, which would be leading to this. But here's some overlooks that we can't really see anything at.
I don't really like the view yet.
Oh. It'll get better.
It's pretty right now.
It's gonna get better.
Kind of close.
Alright, nice. So we are at Skyland Lodge, and there is a Tesla destination charger, which this Model 3 is using. And then there's also a J1772 charger, charge point 1. That is free. And we are charging, and we're getting 7 kilowatts. So not the fastest in the world, but we will take it.
7 kilowatts.
You guys ready for our hike?
Yeah.
All right, so we, a friend over here, just in his plaid, just finished and gave us the Tesla charger. So now we're going. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. Now we're doing 9 kilowatts, so that is better. There goes Stetson. All right, we are heading from Skyland to Stony Man now. This is the connector trail that goes from where the lodges are to the actual mountain trail. So we have a 3.5 mile hike ahead of us, which I'm expecting is probably going to take us about 2 hours or so. But hopefully the sun will come out and it'll warm up during that. The old stage, some say, is haunted by the ghost of an actor who always forgot their lines. And so late at night, on nights just like this, you can still hear him saying, "Line, line."
Little snowman parking. Snow.
Well, here is the summit of Stony Man, and it's not exactly the best view today. Yeah, it kind of just looks like the end of the universe. Huh. Oh well, alright, time to get back to Hershey. Alright, well we're finishing our walk and it is actually clearing up a little bit. You can just sort of see some farms poking through in the view down there.
Farms?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see them too.
And we're here at Skylands Lodge and Dining Hall now. Although it's a little bit early for us to get lunch. Alright, so charging stats, we have been getting 8 or 9 kilowatts. We added 200 kilowatt hours and let's see, we were charging it doesn't tell us, but okay, so since last night we drove 11 miles, we were getting 241 watt hours per mile, which is pretty bad, but there's elevation here. Or no, sorry, that's actually very good because we were coming downhill, I think, for a part of that. And I don't know how to see like how long we were actually charging. It's about 2 hours, I think, according to our hike. All right, so that's quite nice to have here, and we're gonna come back here for lunch in a little bit. First, we're gonna go drive around and see if any of the overlooks are working better now. All right, with that, we headed off to explore more of Shenandoah National Park. I hope you'll stick with us and join us for part 2, in which we continue our journey through the park, charge up quite a few more times, spend a really rainy, damp night in the tent, and then head home via Charlottesville, Virginia, which was a very pleasant surprise. You don't want to miss any of that, so please do like and subscribe so that you don't miss it. We'll see you in the next one.